Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today for part 7 with my project car, the Red Edition Ford Focus RS. But this is the big one, the one that you've been waiting for and you've all been asking me about. It is time to take this car to Mountune to upgrade the power. And when we say upgrade the power, it's not just going to have a small increase. We're going to be taking this car to over 500 horsepower. It is going to be a wild animal, a savage pocket rocket. So I'll give you a quick update on what we've done so far. The last upgrade was the installation of the new exhaust system. Then today we will drive it over to Mountune, catch up with the team there and find out what's going to be happening next. I cannot wait for this. It's going to be awesome. So let's get started, let's get underway and let's get this car to Mountune. I've owned this car since May last year, so around 8 months now, and the aim when I bought it was very much to transform it into a project car, and it's had a whole host of modifications since, including the completely retrimmed interior, the carbon fiber exterior package, the new wheels, and a lot more too. But the big one was to do something with the 2.3 litre ecoBoost engine, which at the moment is completely stock, 350 horsepower, manual gearbox, all-wheel drive. We haven't touched the drivetrain at all, and there are two reasons for that. Firstly, to get some mileage on the car, to make sure it's run in, bedded in, and the engine is running up to speed, and it's now done about 5,000 miles thanks to a recent Euro trip. And the second thing is that, of course, the engine is going to come out to do the work, and that means it's going to take a month or two and be off the road in the meantime, so I've timed it with a period that I'm going to be away for a bit. So the modifications actually started back when the car was new, doing the interior, when I took it to proto trim, and it got this new red and black Alcantara interior, the seats, the door cards, the dashboard topper, basically the whole inside was redone. It then went to Dub Customs, where we fitted the Ventus Veloce carbon fiber aero package, all the parts on the exterior, the splitter, the lower splitter is currently not on the car, it's a removable piece, the canards, the wing at the rear, the diffuser, the side skirts, the full carbon exterior body. It also then got some parts from SS Tuning, for example the steering wheel and the shift knob, and more recently it had the installation back here of the X-Force Varex exhaust system, which does sound rather good, and a few small bits along the way, the Johnny Cocker Racing lowering seat frames, the Car Enhancements UK door sills, illuminated RS logos, and a fair few other bits and pieces. But it is time now to take it over to Mountune. So let me try and squeeze down the side here. That's the new splitter after the little thing I told you about that happened to the old one. I'll squeeze in, get the car fired up, and take it over to Mountune. It's always a bit of a challenge to get into the car here, and the reason that I have a packaged up splitter on the floor behind me is that when I was on that road trip around Germany, parked in a hotel car park overnight, somebody decided it would be a great idea to scrape my front splitter. It was left hanging off, and they obviously didn't leave a note. So I've got a new one to go on, but haven't yet installed it. Now, as I've said before, one of my favorite things about the Focus RS is the very simple door protector. The way when you open this up, you have those rubber strips that come around and basically mean that you can lean it against the wall and not damage anything. And I can now try and squeeze through this moderately tiny gap to actually make it into the car. If I can just about maneuver myself through here. Oh, there we go, just about in. As you can see, a touch under 5,000 miles are now on the clock. But let me point the camera just outside so that you can get a listen to it firing into life. Bubbles, that sounds great. So, here we are, let's get started then. Let's head on over, get to Mountune to get these things started. It's actually a rather nice day today, which is always great to take a car out for a drive. Now, I know so many of you always ask me why so many Focus RSs. Well, now with the GT here in the garage, the Heritage RS, I'm feeling well and truly in the Ford Performance spirit. So it is time to make this car have even more performance. So at this stage, I'm not really changing too much else in terms of the dynamics other than a bit more power out of the engine. Of course, I'll need to do other upgrades as a result. We'll look into suspension, brakes, various different things along the way. For the time being though, actually, let's pop it into sport mode. Do like that, select that. Sport mode just means a few more pops and crackles from the exhaust system, which is of course always quite fun. It does sound really, really cool. If not, maybe a tad antisocial, but hey, that's half the fun of it. We're on a busy road in the middle of the day. It's not a problem right now. However, to see what he's doing, give this a go. and it's going to sound mega when it's done. It's going to get obviously significantly louder. We might have to change the exhaust system depending how that works with the flow of the air through the engine and the whole system within the car. We'll get to that. I will learn a lot more. I know a bit about this, but I know that there's a lot more that I need to kind of understand as to how exactly this is all going to work out. All I know really is that we're heading for some big numbers. So it's around, well, about an hour or so, a bit over an hour to get out to Mountune outside of London. Oh, I've got a phone call coming in, so best take that. Call over, and away we go then. And we get lots of bangs and cracks. It's so much fun, this car, honestly. And this is just the start of what we're really going to do to it. And this isn't actually even going to be the end. There's a lot more that will still come after this. But what a lovely day, even though it's a bit damp and wet on the roads. We have all-wheel drive. Of course, I changed the wheels to the BBS wheels. We've got the BBS CIRs, and in this case, we've also got the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres as well. And those are going to be right at home, on the track, at the Nürburgring, for example. So next year, when we've got the power upgrades, in spring, when the ring opens up again, this car is going to have to go out there. For now, I've got about half an hour still to go over to Mountune to get on with the work and find out what's going to be happening. Oh, we've got another little bit of tunnel as well. Drop a gear. Yes. This is why a car like this is so fantastic. More than enough power for small countryside roads. Nimble handling, an exciting drive. You don't necessarily need a supercar all the time. I love driving this thing. I just can't imagine what it's going to be like when it has over 500 horsepower. At least that's the aim. We'll have to see what numbers it actually manages to achieve when all is said and done. But for now, the aim is to get it to 500 horsepower. And, well, that hopefully is going to be possible. But it's just, I mean, you've got the new front diff in the addition. I need to go down to the Alps or something with the Focus RS just to enjoy it even more. One more little bridge. Can I get the downshift right? This is the challenge. Oh, not quite for a crack. But here we are, arriving at Mountune, so let's pull on in. Okay then, neatly does it. So, that is the last I'm going to be driving this car for the time being. We've got 5,021 miles on the clock, and I rather think it's ready to have some good miles more. I cannot wait to get this to the Nordschleife. Here we are then, in the sunshine. The race red looking very nice with its BBS alloys, and the sound of the exhaust as well. Now, the last time I was here at Mountune, I think I filmed, was when we were installing the exhaust system and the FPM 375 on my old blue Focus RS. But we're going to take this in now into the workshop where we can see a sample of what is going to be done to this car. So let's whiz around and take a look. In it comes. So things in here have actually changed quite substantially since I was last here. The workshop has grown. A lot of work's been done with the Mark III generation of the Focus RS, including their new 400X package, which is basically the top end that you can get out of this engine. 400 or so horsepower without doing substantial changes, as have been done to that engine that you see behind that I will show you in a moment. So that's what's going to be popped into the bay right there. This is their development car that already has a big chunk of this work done, and also a fair few other modifications, and looks really quite cool. But let me just come and pop open the engine bay so we can have a really quick look just in here. If we come down, pop this, make sure it was released, and have a look at what's been done to the ecoBoost or the ecoBeast in here. And of course the main work is down at the bottom, so you can't actually see all that much other than the Mountune intake pipes that you have up there. It also has down at the front, I'm just going to close the bonnet, down in here, Mountune intercooler, which looks really, really cool as well. And then if I come around to show you my car for a moment, might be a bit of a challenge to get in here and open the engine bay, but let me give it a go, just see if I can safely open that up. Yep, perfect. Come through, pull this, release the carbon fibre bonnet, which by the way is massively lighter than the standard one. Massively, massively, massively. It makes a huge difference. So in here we have all the carbon for the various different covers and caps, but that's the standard intake, clearly in need of a change. I like that one in particular over the fluid container there. So this is all going to be, well, taken out and significantly different the next time I see it. You have to give that a big slam. And then if I come here, their display unit of the engine. Now what you can see on this side, you've got the intake pipe, the intercooler, the Mountune cast inlet manifold on the top. The main parts of this are what lies around the back,
But I can't show you that now. This is a development. They've been adding the parts onto here to show them, but we will be back to see exactly how those look in more detail when all is revealed. So the car will get up to about 400 horsepower by having everything fully redone. So if you think about it, all the components need to be reworked from the bottom up, the rods, the pistons, new gasket, everything to strengthen the engine, all of the lower parts and the internal components to get to 400. A stock is 350, and also the torque is going to see some substantial changes and growth as well. But then on top of that, of course, turbo is where you get the most extra power. So you can imagine around the other side is a rather nice new turbo on this engine that I'm looking forward to showing you in the future. You can see a few other cars of different generations being worked on in the workshop at the moment. Let's have a little listen to this car too, and the idea, of course, wow. That's a very different noise. Of course, it's valve controlled. I was going to say the idea behind the 500 is like the Mark II Focus RS, RS 500 in the satin black wrap, a full package. Wow. The sound is completely different. It's a much deeper kind of grumble, a bit more grunt to it, and listen to the turbo as well. Of course, this car has a number of other modifications, different wheels. You've also got the wider arches at the front, and then the whole look to it with all the satin grey parts. Interesting. I wonder what mine is going to sound like when all is done, because that is aggressive and angry. Hey, those are kind of cool together. Two very different takes on the Mark III Focus RS. Of course, this is all going to take a reasonable amount of time to get the work done, so I was thinking I should come back to give you guys a mid kind of progress update, and also maybe, if you'd like to see it, take their development car for a drive to get a flavour of what it's going to be like when mine is finished. The two together, though, look awesome. In fact, Mountune do some pretty cool work and a lot of, well, very clever stuff when it comes to these cars, as we've seen with my blue one before, and also with my Heritage. That has the FPM 375 upgrade, still with the Ford warranty, so that was a special thing that Mountune did with Ford as part of that car, including some bespoke components in the engine bay. But it's exciting times for the project car. Part 7 is underway, or I suppose we could say, I think the third major stage. We did the first round with the interior, we did the exterior, we've done some small components as well, but now it's the big one. It's the engine, and then there will be a whole host of things that follow. I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait to drive it when it's completed, out at the Nürburgring, out on tracks, and explore what this car is capable of when you really go for it. So maybe nearly 500, maybe we'll reach 500 horsepower. In any case, it is going to become something really special. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you to Mountune as well. Their links are down below if you'd like to find out more. But that is it for this time. I will see you again very soon. Cheers.